next, after PP has shown how the lap donor nephrectomy can be done, the other important factor in preparation of the patient is the pre-transplant nephrectomy. And we have done lots of pre-transplant nephrectomies. Now I ask Dr.
I'm from finance.
What do you want?
We have to verify these assets. Asset verification is
They
going
don't
on.
have to come in when I'm in the room. When I'm
taking your permissions.
I don't want them coming in.
Okay.
I'm going to go out. I'm 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Am I? Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible and audible?
Please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mahesh Desai sir and Sabne sir, for giving me the opportunity to share our experience of pre-transplant nephrectomy and the lessons learned. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Rohan Batra. So, native nephrectomy is the nephrectomy done in the patients with end-stage renal diseases who are awaiting transplantation. So, principally, the kidney or the kidneys have to be removed if they are perceived to convey a short or a long-term risk to the recipient or the graft kidney. So there are several controversies which surround the management of native kidneys in ESRD patients who are waiting for transplantation. So the concerns to address in decision for a native nephrectomy are loss of residual excretory function, loss of erythropoietin production, alteration of fluid balance of the patient, dialysis dependence of the patient, and the focus of infection and hemorrhage which have to be removed or not. So the most common indication for native nephrectomy has been ADPKD disease, which can present with a huge kidney size, recurrent hematuria and hemorrhage, recurrent UTIs and pyelonephritis, or chronic pains. The indications other than ADPKD are urolithiasis, that is, patient having urolithiasis with recurrent infections, pyelonephritis, who may present with obstructed system, Stagon stone, or infected stones. They may have vesicoureteral reflux with hydronephrosis or recurrent pyelonephritis. Hypertension is one of the most common reason, non-immunological cause of graft failure. Nephrectomy can ameliorate hypertension by removing the renin-secreting native kidneys. And patients with massive proteinuria, like children who are associated with nephrotic syndrome. Another important indication is a renal mass in the native kidney. And there are some special indications like pediatric population who are having genetic disorders like Dennis-Drash syndrome, which consists of Wilms tumor and progressive glomerulopathies, and primary hyperoxaluria. So when should the native nephrectomy be done? Before, during, or after the transplant? So all the three have their own advantages and disadvantages. In pre-transplant setup, the advantages is that we get a space for the graft. It removes the source of infection, and it is necessary when there is concern about a possible malignant lesion. But the disadvantage is that there is a possibility of allosensitization, as blood transfusion may be required, and it renders the patient anephric. So a situation of preemptive transplant goes away. In concomitant situation, it is a single operation and it allows a preemptive transplant, but it is a more complex operation with a possibility of hemodynamic instability with subsequent effects on the kidney allograft function. And after transplantation, that is a post-transplant setup, the operation is in the setting of a good kidney function, and it also allows a preemptive transplant. But the disadvantage is that the patient is already on immunosuppression, and there is a possibility of acute graft injury if the complications after surgery occur. So how it should be done, open or laparoscopic? So laparoscopic nephrectomy is the standard of care at present, but open surgery is indicated when the kidneys are too large or adhesions are present or the surgery is not amenable for laparoscopy. Whether we should do it unilateral or bilateral depends on the patient status, and it should be tailored approach to each patient. That is, if there is bilateral infective focus, hemorrhage in ADPKD, then we have to go for a bilateral nephrectomy. So coming to our experience, the indications for native nephrectomy, we had total of 94 patients who had undergone native nephrectomy with 140 renal units. Most common indication was ADPKD, followed by stone disease, recurrent pyelonephritis, reflux nephropathy, renal mass, obstructive uropathy, and hyperoxalosis. So native nephrectomy in ADPKD present usually with huge kidney size, recurrent UTIs, incest infections, recurrent hemorrhage and hematuриas, calculus, and chronic pains. So the technical considerations during nephrectomy in ADPKD should be that there should be a proper preoperative assessment and adequate preoperative hemodialysis should be done if indicated. there should be proper positioning of the ports for a comfortable dissection. The dissection plane should be between the cysts and the Gerota's fascia, and we should totally avoid the rupture of the cysts. If there is inadvertent rupture of a cyst, a thorough peritoneal lavage is necessary at the completion of the procedure, and a slow endometriosis dissection should be done to prevent adjacent organ injury. And we should go for bilateral simultaneous nephrectomy whenever possible. So this is the image showing retrieval of ADPKD kidney, and these are the bilateral ADPKD kidneys. The imaging is shown and the specimen are shown on the left side. So we have operated a total of 94 patients with 140 renal units, with 81 patients being male and 13 being female, with an average BMI of 22.28 kilogram per meter square. And the mean age of these patients have been 43.04 years. So year-wise distribution, if we see, so when we started from 1985 to 1990, have done 5-year distributions, and these patients are increasing, and the number of native nephrectomies have been increasing. When we see comparison of open and laparoscopic nephrectomy, so initially we did open nephrectomies, and slowly after the year 2000, they've gone to laparoscopic nephrectomy, and we do open nephrectomy only when it is not amenable for laparoscopic nephrectomies. So a total of 140 renal units have been operated, out of which 48 have been unilateral, that is 15 have been left, and 14 kidneys have been right. 46 patients have been bilateral, that is 92 renal units, with 28 patients having staged bilateral nephrectomies, that is 56 renal units, and in 18 patients we have undergone simultaneous bilateral nephrectomies. So what should be the retrieval incision of these nephrectomies? So it should be either ipsilateral subcostal or a midline incision. That is, we should be away from the iliac fossa. Sometimes in rare cases, we can use the left iliac fossa. We are sure that we are going to do the transplant on the right iliac fossa. So operative and post-operative parameters in ADPKD kidneys, that is in 62 patients, the specimen weight has been around 1.3 kilograms on an average, with a hospital stay of around 7 to 10 days in open nephrectomies and 4 to 5 days in laparoscopy. And the time from nephrectomy to transplant. So if we are doing an open nephrectomy, then it is on an average 4 to 6 weeks, which takes for transplantation. While in laparoscopy, we can really reduce the transplant waiting time. And we have done transplant as early as 10 days after doing a laparoscopic nephrectomy, native nephrectomies. When we see the complications rates are definitely higher in the open group as compared to laparoscopic group. That is, there are more collections seen in the open nephrectomies rather than laparoscopic nephrectomies. And there are some minor complications like prolonged ileus in simultaneous bilateral nephrectomies as compared to the group when we do only unilateral nephrectomies. What about the graft survival? So as Mahesh Desai sir has shown that the overall graft survival has been 100% at 0 years, 1 year, 90.1%, and it gradually decreases. But in ADPKD kidneys, when we've done the native nephrectomies, it is at 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year, it is slightly higher than the overall graft survival. So when we are doing the native nephrectomy, the graft survival has been slightly better than our overall results. So this was a paper published by Mahesh Desai sir in 2008 in the pre-transplant laparoscopic nephrectomy in an adult polycystic kidney disease, a single center experience. That is, pre-transplant laparoscopic nephrectomy with ADPKD has beneficial of minimal invasive surgery, reduced blood loss, and leading to faster and early convalescence. And this benefits in turn help to decrease the period between nephrectomy and transplantation. And there have been innumerable articles which have suggested that nephrectomy in the pre-transplant setup has been the best rather than concomitant and after transplantations. So the take-home message, what I want to give is that pre-transplant native nephrectomy does not negatively impact the patient and graft survival in our patients. And laparoscopic nephrectomy is safe and feasible even for large ADPKD kidneys. Graft survival is better in native nephrectomy patient than the overall survival. And unilateral or bilateral nephrectomy can be done according to the tailored indications for each patient. And in case of a right nephrectomy, the incision from the kidney retrieval has to be away from the iliac fossa. That is, the right and the left iliac fossa have to be spared. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohan. That was a nice overview of the pre-transplant nephrectomy. Well, next you can stop sharing, then I will start.